Well. It's about that time, ladies and gentlemen. It is about that time. Give you guys a few seconds to pop in. But if this is your first time on my channel, this channel right here, Flash Film Academy, my name is Ty Turner, and this channel is for people like yourself that want to turn their passion into profit. I call them contentpreneurs, but if you own a camera, if you're a content creator and you want to make a living from it, make a side hustle, make some money, here we talk about the business side of all of that. You can go other places to get better on your Photoshop skills, to help your girlfriend hide her stomach. Here, we're talking about the business side, how to make the money. And, you know, that's what we like to discuss on this channel. Real quick, I want to say what's up to all my people who are going into the live chat room right now. Let me give y'all a few seconds to come in, and we're going to kind of do a follow-up video to the video that was released the other day, talking about why 2020 is the best thing that could have ever happened to content creators and what you should be preparing for. You should definitely be preparing right now if you're a content creator. Let's see. He said, do you ever charge people for the editing side before or after? Yes. I make sure I itemize everything. Let me jump on the IG live, because IG, those guys need a special invite. What's going on, IG? You see what's up, YouTube, so you can see. We're going live on YouTube right now. Make sure you chime in. Make sure you come on over to the YouTube side of things and check us out real quick. We're getting started right now. All right, you gotta invite the grammars, the Instagrammers. So, you know. So just so everybody know, we going live. All right. Wait to let a few more people chime in real quick. And I just want to go over, what's to come. Because I think a lot of people they kind of slept on what's to come. It's a lot of changes that's going to happen in the world. And as a content creator, these changes are just better for you. Let's just be real. These changes are better for you. But you got to make sure you're in a position to take advantage of it, right? It's kind of like, you know how they say the rich people buy a lot of stocks when the market is down. Right now is your time to buy a lot of stocks because the market is down. And this is your chance to come out on top if you're ready for what's to come. And today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what's to come. So make sure you guys are putting yourself in a position to win. You want to make sure you're putting yourself in a position to win. So, that's what we're going to talk about. Let me make sure I let all the people know on the Facebook group. There, boom, bang, pow. Let's get into it. Y'all get y'all questions ready based on that video a little bit. But again, few things I want to make sure I talk about as we move forward. And you can see right now watching the news that brick and mortar stores are hurting, right? JCPenney's just filed for bankruptcy. Why? Not because of just the pandemic, but they were living check to check for a long time. There's no way a company who's been in business since 1930 something files bankruptcy 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month into a pandemic. It just doesn't make sense. So those companies have been struggling for the longest, and a lot of companies have been struggling for the longest like that, right? Everything is moving online. If you're not Walmart, Target, you need to be moving online, and everything is that's just what it is. People don't do a lot of shopping anymore, not in person, but online is taking a serious dent. I mean, look at your malls. Your malls are not doing what they were doing. I'm not saying they're going empty tomorrow, but I'm saying they're on a rapid decline. When I worked in the headquarters of one of the top fine dining restaurants in the country, their idea of a good year was less than last year, but not a significant drop off. They knew fine dining is dying. It's, as a whole, they were trying to survive as best they can because they had 50 years in the game. Meanwhile, they were looking at ideas to do more of a Panera Bread, Starbucks style, pick up and go style restaurant. So, I mean, it is what it is. So it's something that you got to think about. You just got to think about as we move forward. Now, because things are going online, right? More marketing is going online. That's more product photography that's needed. That's more marketing material. That's more, since people don't leave and go in front of stores and see back in the day, you wanted to have a storefront that was bright, that got people attention, and you would make a large portion of your sales by people who was just there, right? That's why most of the stores that are in malls, rarely do they have commercials, right? Because malls bring foot traffic, and foot traffic brings sales, right? You don't see a lot of commercials for stores in the mall, with the given exception of a few, like maybe Gap or something like that, but they also have standalone stores. So with that foot traffic going, they're going to have to come after their client, have to come after their ideal client. And that foot traffic is now on social media. It's now on social media. So if you're a content creator and whatever your niche is, whoever you're working with, you need to be including a little social media sprinkle on top of whatever content you're offering. You need to, and often, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you a little trick that I do a lot. When I work with clients and I create videos, I'll ask them, hey, do you want me to create a version for Instagram and a version for Facebook? Do you want me to create a different aspect ratios? Yeah. And that's something I'll just add on to the price, but not a big chunk. But the idea that I go into post-production thinking like that helps them out a lot. Because a lot of times they weren't thinking about what to do on Instagram, like how it needs to be formatted for Instagram. The fact that it needs to be under 60 seconds. I usually make mine 59.5, but we use different things. You may have a swipe up button if we do it for Snapchat. We may have a link in the bio graphic if we do it for Instagram. Those things need to change depending on what social media platform you're on. And I make sure that when I create it, it's a part of the solution. It's a part of the solution. We want to go into this with the idea of social media as a part of the solution. Now, as a content creator, I told you, you can't show up and just point the camera and shoot what they want to shoot. You got to show up with the idea of being a solution provider. Andre Woods, good looking out on the super chat. He said, you're a GOAT, changing my life so much. Thanks, bro. Hey, man, thanks for your support. Thanks for listening to me rant on about changes that's coming in this industry, man. It's difficult to find a room full of friends who want to hear about this all day. And this is just what I love. So I'm glad that I have an audience that care about this type of stuff all day, every day, because I love it. I talk about it all the time. It's just that people who don't live it don't really care about it. So I'm glad to know that you all, y'all care, and it's helping y'all. It's helping y'all take it to the next level. I got some videos coming out talking about niches again, because there are some things that are very important, and I've seen some questions. Another thing I want to put out before I get too deep in the video, members, if you're a member of the YouTube channel, make sure you go down to the form submission to submit for video ideas. Also, members, when we get ready to launch that master course, you guys are going to have first dibs at it, and you're going to have a membership discount. I am getting ready in the really, really near future to post a few more things about it, kind of some breakdowns about it to the members and just get their feedback on it. Also, Monday, we're posting a live schedule Monday. Yes, because we're going to start doing this on the schedule, so we ain't popped up. I've been popping up at random times to see what times usually work. What times do I have bigger audiences, just randomly, seeing when people are available. So that's what I've been testing and taking note. That's why you'll probably see me on different days. I'll do a Tuesday this week, a Wednesday next week, a Friday, a Saturday. So I will be posting, I've been looking at what's my most popular times that I've popped up, and a lot of people have been available. So I'll be, I'll be going forward. Can I tell my story step by step on how I got started after the Army? I can. Should I make that a separate video? I'll give you my story on that. Matter of fact, we'll go into it now. We'll give people a little time to get into the room, and we'll go into it now really quickly. When I got out, I was a combat photographer in the military, right? Which is a 25 Victor, which is combat documentation, photography, videography, pretty much, right? So you have a list of jobs in the military. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but you could be on the front line filming with the satellite guy, sending information back to the Pentagon. You could be at the White House. It ranges from everything. You could be taking headshots for people's ID picture. It can be boring. And the Tiger King connection. The members get to see the Tiger. I posted a video about the Tiger King connection. The members get to see that. So that was my job in the military. I loved it. It was dope. I got out of the military. Now, in the military, I started Flash Film Media. I was doing a lot of side stuff. Got out of the military. I got a job at TGI Fridays as a content creator for their learning and development department. And I soon started doing content for the whole company because I was the only video photo guy they hired. They had some other guys to try, but I was the only one they brought in for the purpose of content creation. And after time, I was realizing how much money I was making the company. Let's just be real. Like I ain't gonna say I was struggling. I made a good living, but when somebody's making millions, or you feel like somebody's making millions off of you and you're not making hundreds of thousands, then, then the company got sold. It went from being fun to being a little more strict. And I was just looking for other companies. I ended up leaving there, going to work for Dell, going to work for Texas Instrument, doing the same thing. And I was doing my business on the side. And I thought to myself, how can I get a check from everybody at once? So I started to work on the business. I started on my downtime to make sure my website was tight. I started to continue to land gigs and bigger gigs and just little stuff I learned along the way when it came to how to how to create my brand and how to nail down my niche. And I actually paid a consultant that told me that you do too much. I don't know what you're good at because you do too much. How old was I when I started Flash Film Media full time? Probably like 33, 34. It always was a side gig, right? It always started as a side job. And I remember one day I was doing it on the side. I didn't think about going full time, but one day I compared my month to, you compare like how much money you made in a year up to date, your year to date, and my year to date literally was like $10,000 more than what I had made with Flash Film Media. And I was like, bro, I'm giving these people 40 hours a week. I'm giving Flash Film Media 10 hours a week. Like, I would make a whole lot more money if I can give Flash Film Media everything. And I just jumped and did it. I was scared to death, I ain't gonna lie to you. Because when I did it, I had 2 kids, car note, apartment. Like, it was fail or flight. And I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you, I'm not going to BS you and tell you it was always good times. It was always flight. I didn't blow out some credit cards. I ain't going to get some title loans. I'm not going to tell you that it was like that. Anybody who telling you when they jumped off the porch, they flew, or they're lying to you. Anybody who telling you they didn't scrape their knees and tear their elbows up and go into debt trying to get this thing off the ground, they BSing you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I jacked myself up trying to make things work, but I was able to make things work. I was able to learn from my mistakes and grow into an area where life is good. So, things just took off for me because I was around big businesses that were hiring people to do it or doing it or bringing me in to do it. Companies like Texas Instrument have brought me in for my expertise, and I would redesign their whole department. We need these cameras. We don't need those cameras. Creating like ways to submit. Hey, you would submit a video request like this. I would create all of that, and I just noticed that I can do that for myself. And I don't have to do it for some other company, and I can cut out the middleman. Am I familiar with Full-Time Filmmaker course? Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I think it's a good course on building your skill set. I don't think it teaches a lot of business. It's great on, the thing is this. People are enamored with the idea of what it takes to film a pretty interview, right? How to light it, how to capture it, how to make it look good and deliver it to the client. Nobody talks about how hard it is to get a client. It's hard as hell to get a client. It is hard as I don't know what to get a client that's going to pay you what you feel you're worth. Could you get your cousin and go film them for $50? Yes. Could you go land a law office in your area and make $20,000 doing video for them? A lot of people can't because most people think that they're not good enough, and it has nothing to do with that. You sit at home and watch crappy video all day long. Go look at the news. The news make hundreds of millions. Your local news station probably make hundreds of millions a year, and their footage is the crappiest ever. Everybody's extra lit and terrible. Andre Woods, good looking out on the super chat. Just got my LLC, my EIN. What are some things to look out for when starting a business and a bank account? Make sure you get your DMB. Make sure you definitely get that so that you can start to establish your business credit. Establish business credit. That's big. Look at ways to establish business credit. Maybe a secure credit card. Business credit is huge. There are people who start businesses just to establish credit and then they sell that company. So business credit is big. Business credit is big. He said, Scary Good said, I left my corporate job and it took 2 years of our company before I got my first paycheck. Not easy as people make it look. It's not easy. However, I didn't have nobody. Like, I had no direction. Like, I had to figure this stuff out. There are no books on how to run a video production company. There's one or two, but they're based off old business models where I'm charging for kits and everything is super hourly and it's all quote based and let me see what I feel like charge. It's nothing is like detailed down the line. Here's a system. Here's the processes. Put it in order. Tweak it to use. It didn't. So, I had to figure it out. And a lot of my business is based off of things I took from other companies like plumbers, right? Plumbers had the t-shirts and I go to Best Buy, they got polos. I look at Comcast, the type of vans they use and their type of, shirts, and Time Warner. I just bit a lot of that. And I bit or copied formulas that people trust and they're comfortable with. And I applied them to our industry. And some of them were a success. Some of them wasn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. Some stuff wasn't a success and that's cool. But I got a video coming out talking about you got to fail fast. Fail fast, move forward. What do I think about doing free 99 in order to post on Instagram and attract clients? Okay, posting on Instagram won't attract clients. That will only make the clients you already have or your followers or your cousin them happy. There is a free course on the website called How to Get Paid for Shooting for Free. It's at flashfilmacademy.com. Go check that out. It talks about it. He said, "Your inspiration, my guy. No surprise you've come so far. You're from Detroit, where we hustle harder than anybody. Man, being from Detroit with a lack of opportunity and being dropped in an area with opportunity, it's like going from not having food to being dropped off in the middle of a buffet table or a buffet. It's like going to Golden Corral on a hungry stomach. But you just got to be smart about it. You got to apply that stuff. How do you market yourself? I can't even talk. How do you market yourself, especially to businesses? I don't know how to make sure businesses can notice me. How can my ads target business owners, for example? Okay, let me talk about that real quick because the idea of that is incorrect, right? I posted something on the community page a while back talking about don't chase the cat. Build the brand and let them come to you, right? Plumbers don't knock on your door trying to sell you plumbing, right? They make sure that when you have a pipe that burst, you know where to look, and they are where you're looking. That's the goal to business. It's not Walmart don't necessarily come to you and try to sell you stuff, right? They take what they think is popular, especially in your area. They put it in a newspaper or in a flyer and they send it to every house in hopes that you see something that makes you want to come into the store. And then the store is designed where you have to go through everything that is tempting to you to get to what they showed you on the paper. Therefore, you buy more than you came in there for. It's simple psychology that's used at almost every store. The people who design those stores, the end caps, the aisle layouts, those people make a lot of money. And they bring in a lot of consultant firms to come and help them do that. What do you see when you come in? Afro Chick Media, I am in Dallas now. I was born and raised in the D, and I'm in Dallas now. For those who get it mixed up, Big D is Dallas. D-Town is Dallas. Y'all can have all of that. But in Detroit, it's the D. That's all we want. We want to be known as the D. Y'all can have the rest of the D names. But whenever you say what up, though, and the D, we talking about Detroit. All right. Go Lions. So those are things that you got to, when it comes to building your business, you got to put in perspective. And you got to pay attention to the industry, right? To trends, right? So right now, the trend is social media. Right now, being a small company, right? The benefit that you have over bigger companies is that you can stay nimble. You can change. It's like a little boat. A little boat can turn way faster than a big boat. A cruise ship take 3-4 miles to turn sometimes. You are a speedboat. You can just hit a wave and go in another direction. It's a whole lot easier. Now that you know that and you're aware of that, you need to understand what's coming, right? The video that I created explains what's coming, right? Let me get my graphics on there. People who watch my lives, they know we run promotions when we go live. But you got to know what's coming. We're going to talk about that business plan in 1 second. Oh man, that's a good topic. I touched on it, but I'm going to touch on that next. But you got to know what's coming, and you got to build your brand to accommodate what's coming, right? If you put out a blues album right now, you can't expect to take over the world because blues is just not as popular as it used to be. I don't care how good of a jazz musician you are, it's going to be difficult for you to take over the world right now. You got to put out something that's popular. You got to create something that people want and people look for. So when it comes to creating video and photography, social media and marketing is king right now. So you need to be building your brand to go after that. Now, unless you're talking about wedding photography or videography, that's in demand as well, and it's something you want to think about. Let's touch on this quick question. Christopher asks, any tips on writing a business plan for someone starting a video production service? Should it be simple? Let's talk business plans for a minute, right? Because I know too many people got caught up in the idea of needing a business plan, and it stopped them from starting their business for decades. I know literally, I'm not going to name any names. I got a friend who has been writing his business plan for about 12 years. And that's the hold up for starting a company. And I'm going to be real with you. Unless you're borrowing money from a bank or you're looking to get investors, a business plan is obsolete. Just go do it. Go do it. Go read a book. Go do it. You do not need a business plan unless you're trying to convince a bank or a group of people, your friends or whoever, to give you money. A business plan is only used to show proof of concept for those who want to invest, to show them the value in investing. If you don't need that, if you're going to use your money, right, you don't need a business plan. Now, I'm not saying your business don't need a plan, but you don't need a business plan written and all of that. Don't be getting books on how to write business plans, because the only reason for it is to get investors, is to get people who want to give you money for the idea. It's to explain to them why you got a surefire way of giving them a return on their investment. If you're not doing that, don't bother with a business plan. Now, your business still needs a plan, but that's completely different than a business plan, right? Completely different. So it's something to keep in mind. A lot of people get caught up, get twisted and tangled in the idea of needing that. You go get quotes, somebody tell you it's 10 grand, and then you just put off starting a business for a decade and it never happens. So get out of that. Go shoot. All right. What's the best advertising outlet you've used? I'm using Google Ads, not getting the conversion yet. Okay, let me talk about that too, right? Because I'm going to give y'all some jewels in this video, right? Often we don't look at the whole process, right? We only look at the fact that I'm paying Google, and Google, look, I'm gonna tell you like this. Anytime you get a Google ad, any advertisement, you're paying for, period, right? Look at how many people come to your website from that advertisement. I don't care if it's 10. I don't care if you pay $50 and 10 people come to your website. If you don't get 5 phone calls, 6 phone, I'm gonna be real. Let's be real. Let's just be real. Let's maximize this. If you don't get 9 phone calls, if the majority of people that come to your website don't interact with you, the issue is with your website. It's not with the advertising. Now, there are some things you can do. Like there's a few different types of advertising. But when it comes to being in a place where people look, and you still, if I put you in front of if I put your restaurant, or if I bring 10 hungry people that's looking for Mexican food inside your Mexican restaurant, and they don't eat at your restaurant, I'm not your problem. Your restaurant is the problem. So look at your analytics and see, hey, I'm paying this dollar amount, because they pay per click. So it's difficult for them to be wrong unless you're a Mexican restaurant and you're advertising under Colombian food or Jamaican food. You know what I'm saying? You brought somebody here hungry looking for Jamaican food, and they're like, this is a Mexican restaurant, I'm out. That's the only time they can be wrong. And I used to think like, man, I'm spending all this money on Google. All these people come to my website. Nobody's buying from me, man. They sending me bad traffic. No, because people don't go on Google unless they need something. People didn't go to Yellow Pages unless they needed something. So for people to come to your website ready to go and they don't work with you, the issue 75% of the times is with your process and your website. So wherever you decide to go market and find your audience, if you don't have the proper trap set up, you can be wasting money. You need to spend a lot of time fine-tuning that. Creative Reflections, good looking out on the super chat, bro. He says, sure, I shot up product photography for my wife's Instagram. She just asked to be head of fashion for Disney-based blog. How will we know how much to charge him? Man, to be head of fashion for Disney, charge him a lot. Be reassuringly expensive. My prices always start with one simple thing. What dollar amount do I need to be happy to do this? What dollar amount do I need to not need coffee to get up for your job? That sounds crazy. And I'm not saying you need to be outrageous. I'm not saying everybody got a price. I'm not saying you need to say $1 million, but we often judge our clients based on our pockets. You are not your average client. You know how to shoot video. You're not going to pay somebody. So in your mind, you would lowball yourself because you like, I can do this. It's hard for me to pay somebody a lot of money for something that I can do, right? It's hard for me to pay somebody a lot of money to change a hubcap because I can change a hubcap. It's easy for me to pay somebody to change a transmission because I may not have the tools, the time, or the expertise to change a transmission. So I'm okay with paying a lot of money to change a transmission because I want it done right. So when it comes to something like that, honestly, something like that, you want to evaluate, you want to go to, Glass House to evaluate what others are making in that area. And because it's Disney, make sure you're reassuringly expensive. Make sure you're reassuringly expensive. He said, you made me want to stop being a booty photographer and do real estate photography instead. Listen, nobody likes booties like me. All right. Take it how you want to. I'm just being real with you. If I could find a way to make $1 million doing it, brother, I would be the best booty photographer money could buy. Booties just don't pay money. It's too available on the internet, man. But if there was a way, if you know a way that I could, hey, let me know. This will be the last Flash Film Academy video. I'm joking. No, I'm not. I am, but I'm not. Anyway, all right. Not Disney, but Black Disney blog. Blogs are difficult to judge where they are as far. Sometimes they're just not as financially solid as just because they cover Disney. I know a lot of people that got sports YouTube channels that don't make no money yet. Like they talk about sports and what's hot and all this stuff. So it's just difficult. Set your price on what you like, and negotiate from there. Because they could be in a situation, where they could pay you what you want. They may be like, look, man, we'll give you some stock options. We'll find another way to help you reach that dollar amount. And then it just depends on your area too. Depends on where you are. So, he said, I clicked on this link to send Michael Migos send big bucks your way. Where Michael at? I feel you, bro. One time we had a bidding war on here, man, with super chats. It was a bidding war on super chats. All right, let me get back to the topic. Let me get my other graphic up because I started getting messages. My phone, I started getting messages. So let me make sure I get that going before I even get that. Boom, there you go. All right. So let me touch on the other few things. There's things that you got to understand about the shifts in the market and what's coming, man. Everything is going online. Everything is going online. Now, what's dope about this, right? And this flood, and because it's a switch, because the pandemic has clicked a switch and made this stuff happen way faster than it was going to normally happen, it said, whoop. Now, because of that, and why it benefits you, is everybody got to get online right now. This first wave of content, a lot of people going to cut corners. A lot of people going to put out crappy cell phone, homeboy videos and photography. A lot of people, just to get on, a lot of people going to do it. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to get crushed by those who actually went out and hired someone who specialized in telling stories and creating content and capturing imagery, right? They're going to get crushed, and they're going to sit back and be like, well, what am I doing wrong? Well, look at your video and look at their video. Who do you want? So that's just something you got to think about as you move forward. And the boom is going to require some quality. So build your brand to look like quality. Build your brand to offer quality, and then get quality checks. Get quality bread. Make quality money. Have a quality life. You shouldn't, it should be harder for you to do a $200 gig if you have your trap set up right. We got to go back to the drugs. We got to talk drugs a little bit. I'm with it. If you're trapped right, you got stuff, coming in one window and flowing out the other, and custos can come up and get what they need and not be spotted by nobody and not be in an area where they worry about people taking pictures and doing this, and they can get in and get out. It's going to flow a lot smoother than if they got to go through a bunch of crap to get what they need to get. All right? Got it? Good. Now, so make sure that, make sure that you got it going. What kind of shotgun mic? This is a Sennheiser MKH 416. Christopher say, thanks, love the channel and how you keep it real. Don't sound like a robot. I never get bored hearing your knowledge. You know what? It's about passion, bro. I just love it. It was sometimes I had to stop going live sometimes because I go live every day just to talk. Creative Reflections. Thanks, bro. Stock options and Glassdoor. I didn't think about it. Yeah, look at Glassdoor just to see because a lot of blogs, they ain't really as wealthy as you think they are. They may be struggling. So you may be like, I'll take a little stock options now and we'll keep it going. So what was the question? Let me see if I can find the question, Romax. Let me see. I think I missed it. Ask it again and put some stars by it so I can see it. Just be scrolling. The trap, you got to have the trap, man. Would I help diversify your niche a tad, like mutual funds for stock market? The thing is this, right? And I got a video talking about niche, right? You are making life so much harder on yourself by not focusing on one thing. And I'm gonna talk. I got a analogy that I'm gonna go into that makes perfect sense. We're gonna talk about it in 2 seconds. 10100 Media, good looking out on the super chat, brother. It says, how do you approach increased pricing to clients? Do you email announcement or wait until your next job? So I wait until my next job. Every year, usually if I do emailers to my clients that work, that just, that quarterly, right? Holidays. Maybe on the last one of the year, I announce, hey, and you know what? I'm going to give you exactly what I do. In December, I announce price changes. I usually run a promotion and say, hey, if you book whatever you want for next year in December, you'll get the opportunity to lock in this year's prices. I don't care if you got an event next October. If you put the deposit down now, the non-refundable retainer is what we're calling it in 2020, then you'll get it for 2020 prices. You know what that do for me? 1, that lock in business for next year. 2, that makes me and my kids have a really good Christmas when it's usually slow after the 15th because corporate parties are done and things work out. So that's what I usually do. Now, businesses know prices are going to go up every year. They're not shocked. People don't know that. So that's something you got to keep in mind. Businesses are fine with it. Go look at the price of a Starbucks coffee. Look at how it changes over the years. Go look at what it started and what it is now. So something to think about. Now, let's talk about niches for a minute because I got another video that's coming out that talk about niche, and I don't want to give it away, but I'm going to give you this algorithm. I'm going to give you this analogy that makes sense, right? A lot of you guys, a lot of you people, I hate when people say that, but I got to say that. You people, you look at everything you have to offer as a content creator. I can shoot, I can edit, I can film. I need you to picture that as a chef that opens his cupboard and his refrigerator, and he see a bunch of ingredients. He see a bunch of spices, a bunch of different meats, right? Now, if you go to a person that's hungry and you say, I got cinnamon, I got nutmeg, I got eggs, I got cheese, I got broccoli, they're gonna be like, what? I don't care. If you present to them a meal option, it makes sense for them, right? They get it because they can see the benefit of eating that meal. Often, a lot of us tend to sit back with all of these ingredients listed on our website about what we can do. And they're mad because clients don't come in and look at those ingredients and think of a dish that they can eat. People don't think like that, right? They think about finished, completed dishes. And you may have an ability to do listen, most chefs can cook across different genres. But you need to, I can almost guarantee you that an Italian restaurant and a Mexican restaurant probably overlap on about 80% of the ingredients. They all got flour, they all got sugar, they all got salt, however, because they specialize in one thing, they create dishes for that one thing. They have a target audience to go after. And it's easier for them to spend money to say we create dope Mexican food than it is to bring people in and try to figure out what they may want, right? So with your skill set, with everything that you can do, because I'm sure you can name a bunch. You probably can do photos, probably can do headshots. You probably can do product photography. You probably can do commercial, whatever. Those are just ingredients. When you get your niche down and you say, I want to do dog photography, you can then create dishes that people who want dog photography enjoy, and you'll sell more of those dishes. You'll make life easier for yourself. The biggest advice that I can give you as a content creator to speed up and turbocharge your success is stop doing everything. Stop it. Can you go into a Mexican restaurant and order a cheeseburger? Hell yeah. Because they still going to take that money. However, they're not going to advertise themselves as a cheeseburger joint. That's why people be like, well, what if they want me to do something different? Should I stop doing? No. But be a Mexican restaurant. You're going to get, sometimes people going to come in there with kids that don't want Mexican food. And that's cool. We also got tater tots. But we not a tater tot company. I got some tater tots and some chicken nuggets for the kids. I put a little extra stuff and I still do it, but my focus is on what my niche is, which is to be a dope Mexican restaurant, an authentic Mexican restaurant. That's why your niche is important. If every restaurant did everything, you wouldn't know who's good. You wouldn't know, you don't trust the cooks, the chefs. And I'm sure chefs could make pancakes out of Mexico. You probably can get all the pancakes. They got everything there to make it, but that's not what they do. Because it's easier for that business to survive when they decide on a niche and they focus on just that niche of services and products. When you figure out what it is you want to do. And that's why I tell people sometimes don't even start with 3. Just put everything in one. Put everything in one type of thing and go for it. Put all your resources in that. Go for it. You know what I'm saying? And that will give you the success you need to do other things. Right? Coca-Cola didn't put out 50 drinks at once. They mopped the competition up with Coca-Cola. Now they doing waters and iced coffees and they do everything. You got to focus on one thing. You don't have $1 million right now. I mean, you may. Most of us don't. And it's going to take you $200,000-$300,000 to dominate your market in just one thing. It's going to take you $200,000 to do it, right? Not $2,000 or $3,000. It's going to take you $10,000, $20,000 a month in one thing to dominate your industry. So don't jump off the deep end trying to do something different. I don't know why my connection is terrible right now, but we're going to slow it down until we can figure it out. So think about that. All right. I started off doing 3 things. My 3 niches was corporate event photography, corporate promo video, and headshots. Those are my 3 things. Now, I've grown them to be that, but they didn't always start as that. I started as doing just corporate event photography because that's what I could easily translate from doing military corporate video. So I started with the money that was in my pocket. I took a little bit of my check and I applied it to my website. I applied it to the writing on my website, the copy. I applied it to bringing in consultants to look at my website. I applied it to bringing in consultants to look at how I was marketing. I applied it to bringing in mentors to look at what I should be doing right now. Because I had all the gear I had access to. When I was in the Army, I had access to $1 million studios. That didn't make me get more business. I could use it, you ain't supposed to, but I could use it to do whatever, but that didn't make people want to work with me. It was my business and my brand that make people want to work with me. Right? So if you don't think brand is important, I challenge you to do this. Go get your car, go by the airport and beg somebody to give them a ride home. They won't trust you. They won't work with you. Beg somebody. Listen, please, sir, let me take you home for $30. Let me take you home for $20, sir. Please. They'll be like, man, you crazy. However, they'll pull up their cell phone, order an Uber. It can literally be you. You can come back as their Uber driver and they'll get in your car without talking to you. That's the power of branding, right? As an individual, you don't stand a chance. But as a brand, you stand a chance. They'll get in your car and pay double what you just tried to ask them to do, simply because you're with Uber. So, my connection somehow is dropping because I'm in a storm. So with that, I'm gonna wrap it up. And I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. We got a few more videos coming, but it's a storm coming too, so my connection is terrible, and I don't want to keep going in and out. All right, guys. If you like what you're seeing on this video, make sure you hit your thumbs up. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. We got a Facebook group. We post a lot of stuff. All right, guys. I got some more content coming. So, be ready. Be ready.